Hey folks, it's Mike Ryan, and if you're watching our show, you've probably known your boy has undergone a little bit of a body transformation, and I gotta tell you, Peloton has helped me on my fitness journey. It got the ball rolling for me because I watch my wife on the Peloton. She takes all these great classes. She has her favorite instructors. I listen to the music. I'm a big music guy. It gets me fired up, makes me want to take part in this fitness phenomenon known as Peloton. Peloton offers a variety of challenging classes, from 4-week strength building classes to running, cycling, and everything in between. Peloton will help you achieve your goals, and maybe you'll have some fun along the way. I know I have. It's backed by thousands of members whose lives have been changed. Be part of that group. Telling you, I'm better for it. Have it in my office. Sometimes I can put on the baseball game. Sometimes I can put on a soccer match. Some other times I'm totally locked in on an emo playlist. Find your push. Find your power with Peloton at onepeloton.com. Now's a good time to remember where tequila's story truly began. In 1795, Cuervo invented tequila.
Cuervo.
What are you doing here?
Cuervo. Anytime someone says Cuervo, I show up.
Well, I do know that to be true, but even during ad reads, like...
Cuervo.
I think you could lay out, especially for one of our great partners.
Sweet, delicious Cuervo.
Since then, Cuervo has stayed true to its roots. The same family, the same land, the same passion.
Cuervo.
So, enjoy the tequila that started it all. Cuervo.
Cuervo.
The tequila that invented tequila. Proximo. Cuervo.com. Please drink responsibly.
Cuervo. Shadow Show.
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 Shadowing it.
Shadowing it.
This one promises to be interesting because Greg, Cote, and Zaslow are sitting across from each other. There is a history of something, a history of something there. Greg is pointing at me right now, but the reason this also has the possibility of being a cantankerous day is because you just muttered, I heard you right before we started, bleeping traffic, pain in the ass.
Well, traffic is traffic, right? So I don't like to complain about what's apparent, and everybody who lives in South Florida knows rush hour getting from Broward to Miami is a pain in the ass. But more so today, I don't know why. I left the house at the same time. Normally I get here 20 minutes earlier, blah, blah, blah. So I'm breathing heavily.
You do seem, Chris, you've been laughing at him. His hair's a little discombobulated. He seems frazzled. He sounds frazzled. He's rushing in 3 minutes beforehand.
Yeah.
Draft day's hell week for him?
Sure. Yeah, I'm a person who likes to show up early and not feel rushed. And today I showed up late and I feel rushed, so I'll catch up. Don't worry about me, kid.
I do worry about you every time that you're in because you tend to derail things with the way that you don't do things according to protocol.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons that Zaz has been, Zaz and Dominique, I think, are perpetual. I don't want to speak for them, but they're perpetually, they've said on this show that they're frustrated that some basic things that could be easily learned around here are things you refuse to learn.
Yeah, like what?
Radio. The doing of broadcasting.
Okay, I was under the impression I was speaking into a mic right now, that people were hearing
Very
me.
often that mic is not in front of your
Okay,
face.
well,
But if I was writing, like if I was allowed one day to write a column
Sure.
in the Herald,
Yeah.
all right, and I wrote it in crayon, that would bother you, right?
yeah, well, it would bother the reader because we don't publish crayon, so what you wrote would never be published.
But you'd be offended. You're like, well, like this is not how we do it.
Well, how do you do it?
Well, I don't know because I don't write in the newspaper.
Zaz believes he's every bit the journalist you are.
Well, yeah, like I think today's gonna be fun. Just 3 journalists chopping it up here.
Okay. Well, we went into this journalist argument before. To me, if you're talking about the Panthers while wearing a Panthers shirt, you recuse yourself as a journalist.
I disagree.
Okay.
I mean, I went to the College of Journalism at the University of Florida. I graduated. I have a degree. I'm a journalist.
Okay. Well, because you have a degree in journalism doesn't make you a journalist unless you choose to pursue a career in journalism.
I don't think that's true. I think if I have
if-
a degree in journalism, that makes me a journalist.
Guys, you fell for it. You fell for it. He came out the gate shit stirring, and you fell for it.
Well,
you took the bait, you ran with it. You're having an argument about journalism.
Just defending my education.
No, Zaz, you got to be better than that. You got to be better. Greg, you see what this guy's doing in the middle?
I do, and I'm just saying, and I'll leave it at this. If I have a degree in botany, but I'm not a botanist, I don't call myself a botanist. But to
Glad you
Mike's,
got the last shot up.
but to Mike's point, the so-called feud or whatever you choose to call it between Zaslow and I is totally contrived by this guy.
Well,
By this guy.
Get him, guys. Get him.
You're
I'm
getting
just saying.
wise.
I have nothing against Zaslow. I don't know him well enough to have any animus whatsoever.
I could speak for myself.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
I begin with an apology to the audience that I missed this yesterday. Many of you rushed into the breach to say that Greg Cote owes $50 because yesterday he killed Marv Levy on the air very early in the show. Nobody here corrected him. I don't know how old Marv Levy is, but he is still with us.
99.
That means that Greg Cote owes $50, and also he owes $5 because his phone went off, so he owes $55. Can we get the sound here of Greg Cote with all of his hair disheveled from traffic? Greg Cote yesterday on the show killing Marv Levy. When the anonymous quotes come flying from the people who still admire Robert De Niro as a marquee movie star. The old coaches are speaking anonymously. I hate this. One of the many reasons I hate this time of year.
Well, if Marv Levy and Don Shula were still alive, the reference would have been there are no Laurence Oliviers in this draft. So we have moved forward on that.
Progress. I can't believe I missed that.
Well, can I say something in all seriousness? I apologize to Marv Levy and his family. I didn't say that as a joke. I honestly didn't know he was still alive. And I do think, I don't know who the commissioner of the fine bucket is, or if you're still calling it a fine bucket, but I appeal to the commissioner that a $50 fine should be reduced when the person I quote-unquote killed is of the age 99. In other words, when someone is 99, or would have been 99, I think
should be dead. Is that what you're saying?
Well, there's a fair assumption that they might no longer be around. Look, when Marv Levy turns 100 in August, the city of Buffalo, the Bills, the NFL should throw this guy a parade. He's a Hall of Famer, in my opinion.
Because time's running out.
What if?
Well, 100. I mean, who lives to be 100?
I kind of get where
Alberta
Greg is
did.
going with this. and
Alberta.
I think if the
Family
person's
friend.
in the upper 90s, the fine goes down to like 45
Tiered
bucks.
system.
Yeah, it's a tiered system.
Yeah,
It
I
goes-
think so.
It goes down to like 40 bucks.
Thank
If you kill someone who's in their 90s, it's like $25. If they're in their 80s,
Yeah.
it's $35.
Jeremy has
If they're
it
in their
right.
It's
70s, you get to 50.
It's -5 for every year over 100 they live.
Okay.
None of you are allowed to be in charge of the fine bucket. None of you respect the fine bucket. And this is a hard and fast rule. No need for dilution or nuance. If someone's alive and you say they're dead, $50.
That's a
like
good rule.
there's no, we don't need any judges. We don't need to do any gerrymandering here in order to get the right votes that we want. It's hard and fast. He killed somebody who's not dead, $50.
You know, in a democracy, you're allowed to appeal a verdict.
Not a democracy. $50.
Okay.
If the person is alive and you make them dead, you owe $50.
Okay, I'm going to get my personal assistant on that.
No, Chris, come in here and make sure your father pays this, please. Grab his phone.
I would, but the phone is turned off by your mandate.
That's fine. I know what the passcode is,
No,
Chris.
it's been
Right now, I'm
changed.
tired of
Do you
him
have cash? I can
not
spot you.
paying any of the fines. We're going to put an end to that. We're going to get back to the assortment of things to talk about today. I'm guessing Zaslow and Heat fans enjoyed last night simply because Jimmy Butler got hurt.
Not at all. That was awful.
Bummed about that.
I didn't enjoy that.
But I'm not a Heat fan, nor am I Zaslow.
I don't believe any of you. I know that you guys
Oh,
will say
no.
publicly whatever it is that you want to say. I believe the fact that Jimmy Butler left the game
No.
and then champion Steve Kerr says, well, once that happens, we don't know what we're doing.
I wanted Jimmy to lose in 5. I wanted the Warriors to lose. I won't shy away from that. I didn't want the Heat to get potentially swept in the first round and have the Warriors go on some miraculous run, of course. But watching Jimmy Butler get hurt in the postseason is the one of the worst things to watch. He's one of the greatest postseason performers that we have. And as an NBA fan, as a basketball fan, you're miserable. And as a Heat fan, you don't want to see the guy hurt.
Oh, that's the nice thing to say, Jeremy. Jeremy, you don't know Miami or Miami fans very well. If you think you're speaking for all Miami fans there.
I don't think I'm speaking for all Miami fans. I think I'm speaking for more Miami fans than not, though. I don't think anybody wants to see the guy get hurt.
I got so many texts last night. Hey, can't believe Jimmy got hurt 2 games in. Like my phone just filled up. That's how I got the news. Don't tell me that everyone's being nice about this.
I didn't say everyone's being nice about it. I said I think most Heat fans with a soul are looking at this and saying,
that doesn't make sense.
It's a shame.
Oxymoron.
It's not a thing.
It's a shame that he got hurt. Like, I don't think anybody wants to see that. I think there might be people who send the text of "I told you so," and that's a different thing. Knowing that the guy puts his body out on the line and being worried about paying long contracts and blah, blah, blah. That's a different thing than I'm feeling glee over the fact that he's injured and won't make a run
Jeremy,
now, right?
I have found very little around here pleases people more consistently than being able to say, I told you so.
Oh, that's the best.
That's right.
And so all of these things get muddled. Like, you can sit here and say, I have a soul because I feel bad secretly, but also I told you so. Those things don't go together. Yeah, like, there's some happiness involved with just being able to not be miserable because the Warriors are 17-1 in their last 8
So you agree
games.
with me?
That sounds like an agreement.
Yeah, you just agreed with everything I said.
Found
Thank you, though.
consensus. That's great.
Yeah, good. All right. Good for us as a team. We did it.
We changed someone's mind.
I don't
proud.
agree with you.
I like the idea of all the people texting you thinking they're so original with their texts. Oh, surprise, Jimmy Butler got hurt after 1 game. I'm not happy that Jimmy Butler got hurt. The part that I am happy with, the part that does please me, is I envision Pat Riley and the Heat front office like, yeah, this is why we weren't going to give him an extra $150 million on top of the 2 years that we've already guaranteed him, because that.
Why do you guys think that Heat fans would be nicer about this than people were when Anthony Davis limped off the court and everyone took a certain glee in, see?
Because that was funny. Like, that was funny. Jimmy getting hurt's not funny.
This is also, like, we don't know how bad this injury is. Like, he's got a bruise on his pelvis. Like,
Right.
he could tough that one out.
He was ruled out really quick.
He can tough this one out. It could add to his playoff legend, possibly. It was also, like, a freak injury. He's just going up for a board. Dude behind him trips over Draymond. It kind of looked dirty initially.
Or maybe he did it on purpose.
You think? Man, if he did, Draymond would have went at him, but Draymond was kind of responsible because the dude kind of tripped over Draymond's leg.
Yeah, it felt like he was just kind of trying to gain his balance, but I actually think that that's part of it, right? If Jimmy was just like driving to the hoop and rolled an ankle without even stepping on anybody and it was that type of thing, a little bit of that I told you so maybe even creeps into what we're talking about. But when you see a nasty spill like that, I just don't think that there's anything to look at other than, oh man, this stinks. Like, this stinks.
No, I think it's a freak injury, obviously, but it's still along the lines of why the Heat don't trust him at this point in his career to give him additional money.
Yeah, but I don't think "I told you so" is even in play here. Jimmy Butler's always going to be seen as the traitor who quit on the Heat and quit on Miami.
You think he's always going to be seen as that?
I think so.
I don't believe that.
I don't think so.
I do too, because he didn't win a championship here. Let's not oversell the fact that.
Well, but by local homers, he'll be considered that. But that's not the national reputation of Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is now golden forever based on what we've already seen. The surprise we've already seen makes him golden forever as one of the most surprising things seen in the history of the NBA postseason.
And what I was about to say before you put a pause on my comment was that he won the trade already. Like, Jimmy Butler is a darling in Golden State. He won the trade, particularly because, Wiggins and look, Davion Mitchell and Wiggins are pretty good, and they showed it. Or Davion showed it last night.
Are
not
they?
Wiggins.
Are they? I'm not totally sure.
I don't know. Is Davion Mitchell good? I don't know.
Let's explore last night's game. Finish your thought. I didn't mean to put a pause on your thoughts there.
One way to say it.
I think in South Florida, he's always going to be the traitor who quit on the Heat and pouted his way out of Miami. I think nationally, you're right. he's feathering his legend, particularly if they somehow win the championship. And he won the trade. He got what he wanted. He got the money he wanted. He got the teams, the situation he wanted. He loves it.
He didn't
they
quite
love him.
get the team that he wanted.
Well, he
but
won the trade.
Shaq's not thought of that way. Shaq did the exact same thing. It was probably less messy, but that didn't mean it wasn't messy at all.
But isn't that because Shaq kind of did it in the shadows?
Well, I guess, and media was different there, and Shaq has something that Jimmy doesn't have, a championship in a Miami Heat uniform, right. But I do think time will heal all wounds, especially for a younger generation that maybe was adolescent during the Big Three era. Jimmy was their guy, and Jimmy is like the face that they associate with the franchise.
Well, he won. He became the face of Heat culture wrongly. I don't think he was ever the face of Heat culture, but look, the way he left is never going to be forgotten. It may be forgiven in time.
Greg, by you, the noise of the moment with real legacy, the noise of the moment isn't something that echoes.
Okay.
This is 15 years of career, and Draymond Green punched a teammate. Not how he'll be remembered.
Right.
Like that's the noise of the moment is not the thing that sticks.
But I think that when we look back at the totality of his career, it's going to be more he couldn't land anywhere. He was never happy anywhere. I mean, yes, he had the bubble run with the Heat, but I think he will be thought of more generally as a guy who was really good that just couldn't fit in anywhere.
As a journalist, I would tell you that I think that that's not going to be the way he's remembered here.
Let's talk about the specifics of last night's game. Cleveland, extraordinary at threes. The way that Cleveland can beat Boston is by being better at threes than Boston. In last night's game, the Heat put together offensively a second quarter they kind of want to put together. 6 threes in a second quarter. You do that over the course of the game. You've made 24 threes. That's kind of what it is that you want to do. However, they're down 17 because Cleveland's made 5 more threes than them in the second period. It's the most ever in a quarter in an NBA postseason, and the Heat just basically trailed the entire game, and then late in the game, they got close. I'm curious how the rest of you feel about this. The Heat have only 2 players who are all-stars, and one of them that they need to be huge in this series is floating around the perimeter and assists and taking three-pointers and trying to out-three the Cavs by Bam's taking threes on the perimeter. And they're also down 17 at the half because they're getting nothing at the rim. Nothing is happening at the rim, and Cleveland saying, go ahead, Bam. We'll let Davion Mitchell and Tyler Hero try to take their chances. We're not going to let you beat us. And Bam's like, okay, I won't be the one who beats you. You guys as Heat fans, how do you feel when you've got your dream team guy, your all-star, floating around the perimeter as a non-factor all game? And I'm saying this even though he had 9 assists.
I feel like we can't do this every single year.
For real.
Meaning, we know who he is by now. And that means he can't be your number 2 scoring option. He's a guy who, all right, whoa, how about that Bam game where he had 29 in game 4? That was amazing. He's not going to be relied upon to be able to do that. He's a number 3 scorer who could do other things as good as anybody in the league, and that's going to be this Heat team's shortcoming this postseason because they don't have that top guy. Like, we can't keep doing this about Bam. We know who he is.
What about this other part of it, though? Like, Tyler Hero's been the screener defender on 50 pick and rolls through 2 games, and the Cavs are generating 1.2 points per possession.
Well, you saw what Darius Garland said their strategy was going into yesterday, right? He literally said, he didn't say pick on their bad defenders. He said pick on Tyler Hero.
It's a weird flex. Jeremy was explaining to me that Tyler totally cooked Darius on
He
the other
cooked
end,
everybody
too.
last night. It's funny. Look, Tyler is the guy they're going after on defense. It's obvious. And when they're putting him in the pick and roll, they're getting everything that they want. Tyler is going to need to take some pride in the defensive end if the Heat are going to be able to do anything in these next couple of games. But Tyler also had 33, 6, and 5 last night efficiently and was clearly the best offensive player on the floor for either team until the final 5 minutes when Donovan Mitchell showed the type of first-team All-NBA superstar that he is.
Well, the Cavs rightly have the luxury of treating Hero as the only offensive threat on that team, and I thought that really shone through last night. This was a game where they needed, and I'm going to say Bam and Wiggins, they needed one of those guys.
Emphasis on Wiggins.
To have a big game. Bam and Wiggins together had 21 points on 6 of 19 shooting. They're never going to beat a team in the playoffs, let alone the highest scoring team in the league, the number one seed.
Wiggins was 3 for 10 points in 28 minutes. Doesn't look anything like the champion contributor that he was for the Warriors. He helped win the Warriors a title. He was that kind of important. Bam had 11 points on 9 shot attempts. But let's hear from Darius Garland here. Again, Tyler Hero has been the screener defender on 50 pick and rolls through 2 games.
Since they got guys at the trade deadline, Miami's been really good at turning teams over, but the first 2 games you guys have really held on to it. Just what's the key to playing clean basketball like that against a team like that?
Pick on Tyler Hero and take care of the ball. Don't play in tight spaces. And pick on their weak defenders. Go at them.
Is it less racist if the Cleveland Indians logo is upside down? I don't. It's cool hat, bro.
You guys think what of that? Because when the Heat lose, they've lost more games this season than they've won. They don't belong on the floor with that team. That team has been exceptional all season, is better than them in every way. The real only advantage that you have in that series is that you hope that over 7 games, Spoelstra can figure out playing the same team again and again and again, that he's got something for them later in the series. But
well, he was tweaking with the lineup a little bit. Guys that hadn't played in a long time are finding themselves playing way more minutes than they're probably prepared for. But look, this is a 1 versus 8 matchup. But Miami's going back to home court, and I do think that Miami has a
series
shot.
hasn't started yet.
Yeah, hasn't even started.
Miami has a shot to make this an exciting series
I don't
for
think
the locals.
The series sort of has started and crushed the Heat. Spoelstra has a reputation as the master adjuster, and I get that. His record going into last night was 10-3 in Game 2s after his team had lost the opener. So, and he started Davion Mitchell. I thought that worked out well, but he's not a miracle man, and it takes a miracle right now. He tried to put the positive spin afterward. He said after the game, I thought this was sort of weird. I thought it was an off-key note by him. He said, at the end of the day, we were 2 points down, meaning late in the game with like 4.5 minutes left.
It was 101-99 late in the fourth.
And I would say, Spo, with due respect, at the end of the day, you're in a 2-0 hole. You've been outscored by 30 points. You don't have a second offensive option against the best scoring team in the league. Where's your lane to victory? And I can't see it right now.
I think their lane to victory is math. And that's why they shot more threes. Like, they were clearly emphasizing we need to shoot more threes than we did in Game 1, which they did. And this way, let's just play with the math. If we get really hot from 3, that ends up being the great equalizer.
Jessica thinks you're pathetic. I saw the look on her face. It can never be the lane to victory, Matt.
I know. I think Jeremy's pathetic. Jeremy just
you should hear him back here.
delivered
It's so sad.
the most absurd theater kid basketball analysis line that I've ever heard from him, which is really saying a lot.
My dad was talking about the adjustments that Spo made and criticizing him last night, and Jeremy just back here.
His adjustments were spectacular.
It's just like they lost. They're down 0-2.
The only reason they were even in that game is the differences that they made in the rotation. Moving Davion Mitchell into the starting lineup, playing Niko Jovic and playing Pelle Larsson.
I had no idea he was even available.
Right. Niko Jovic ends up playing, just to show you the disparity in these teams, right? Like, the Heat just decided to ride a hot lineup that included a guy who hasn't played since February for the final, basically 15 minutes of that game. And that's the lineup that got them back in it, because they're still in this space with this roster of, I don't really know who we are. I don't really know what we have. And so changing the math was what they tried to do early in the game. They tried to get Wiggins involved, and he couldn't get going. And honestly, that was part of the reason Bam ended up taking 4 threes with like 2 seconds left in the shot clock.
They do know what they have. They know it's not good enough, and so they try a bunch of other things that they don't know will work.
No, that's right.
Because what they do know is that what they have will not work in the formations that they've been using them.
Emphasis that he put on spectacular was hilarious.
The adjustments were real, and they were spectacular.
Okay, Jovic, Spo was raving about Jovic after the game. We're a different team with him on the floor. Fine, that may be. But what I saw last night was rust falling all off the floor against him. He was 1 for 8 against threes. If that's the impact they need, I don't see it.
God, how exciting would it have been if Jovic hit that shot in the corner? Would have brought them within 1. Oh,
had no legs, but the adjustments were a tour de force.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Hey guys, it's Lucy, and I'm about to tell you about the most incredible, unforgettable gift you can get mom this Mother's Day. Have you ever heard of Goldbelly? It's this amazing site that I order from all the time, where you can get the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants all across the US, and they will ship it anywhere across the country for free in time for Mother's Day. Goldbelly will ship gift-worthy cakes from Ina Garten and Martha Stewart, Magnolia Bakery's famous banana pudding, New York bagel brunch directly from the city, or even authentic Chicago deep dish pizza. So whether your mom would love something sweet from one of the country's best bakeries or meals from world-famous chefs, Goldbelly has you covered. It's a super simple process, and the packaging is so cute that I used it for my scrapbook. So, if you are looking to make Mother's Day perfect or want to impress your friends and family with an epic meal next time you host, go to goldbelly.com and get free shipping and 20% off your first order with promo code GBF. That's goldbelly.com, code GBF for free shipping and 20% off your first order.
Hey, you in the audience, it's Mike. You've been a fan of this show, hopefully, for a long time, and you know how much Miller Lite means to me. This partnership, it's real. It's documented. For almost 20 years, Miller Lite has been a partner of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz, and now Miller Lite is celebrating its 50th anniversary. I've had so many great moments with Miller Lite, so many great activations, so many great events presented by Miller Lite, a great partner. Cheers to them. Cheers to 50 incredible years. And for you at home, you know that Miller time always means a good time. From game night to parties with friends or a special anniversary, celebrating important occasions means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Cheers to 50 years of Miller Lite, the great tasting light beer for people who love beer since 1975. Now's a perfect time to celebrate legendary stories with friends, family, and a great tasting light beer. It's Miller time. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
The Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is sponsored by Liquid IV. Guys, I just finished playing hoops, went to the gym. That's how I show myself some love. And love looks different for everybody, especially when it comes to all the ways to treat and celebrate yourself. Gift yourself the everyday indulgence of extraordinary hydration from Liquid IV, powered by Live Hydroscience. Visit liquidiv.com and fall in love with all the flavors, like the incredible new Hydration Multiplier sugar-free raspberry lemonade, and use code Dan to save 20% off your first order. Find all your favorite Hydration Multiplier flavors on their website, from acai berry and lemon lime to pina colada, or choose from their line of sugar-free flavors like raspberry lemonade, white peach, rainbow sherbet, and much more. Obviously, you guys know the lemon lime sugar-free is triple platinum here at the Cloud Eat household. They have true to fruit flavors, which makes every single one taste delicious and keep you hydrated. Break the mold and own your ritual. Just one stick and 16 ounces of water hydrates better than with just water alone. Treat yourself to extraordinary hydration from Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code Dan at checkout. That's 20% off your first order with code Dan at liquidiv.com.
Dan Le Batard.
John Zaslow, how you love that catchphrase. Bad news for opposing teams in the AAA.
Stugotz.
He's all smiles till LeBron's a clutch again, clutch again, clutch again.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
There's been some overreaction around here. Zaslow stormed in today saying that Joe Mazzulla should be in prison.
He should. He should. This is not normal societal behavior we're seeing from this person. You go back to the last game, and Jason Tatum is writhing in pain on the ground, and Mazzulla not only doesn't allow the trainer to check on him.
He looks annoyed.
Yeah, he's annoyed that the guy who just wants to do his job and make the guy who is hurt feel better, that's his job. He's annoyed that guy might want to make his player feel better. And then he shouts to Tatum, "Get up! He barks at him while he then has to go take an X-ray and ends up missing game 2. All right, get up. The guy's hurt. And then last night, Kristaps Porzingis, he takes a really nasty elbow to the head. He's dripping blood on the ground. And then after the game, hey, Porzingis was funny. He had like these red blood streaks in his hair, while he's playing with. And then after the game, Mazzulla, he says he likes that his player was bleeding
Let's play that sound here of a Joe Mazzulla that Zaslow says should be imprisoned.
I like his overall just approach. I think he has an innate ability to take things very serious at the same time, have great perspective. And, you see how I think he can control his environment really well with how he handles the crowd and how he handles the physicality of it. And he can maintain his poise. And he just has a great way about him. And I think that helps us. And I do. I love watching him. I like watching him bleed on the court. I think it's important. And then he comes back in and does his job. So I do like that about him.
Dan, if Jeremy hit his head on the side of the desk,
it's a bad example.
Yeah.
Dan would
Everyone
love
would
that.
love if I was bleeding.
Oh, we're going to go viral.
Roy,
He might want me to go out
wish he
there
was in
and
a
start
costume.
bleeding now, so that way I can say things about adjustments and have gushing blood from my face.
If Roy hit his head on the side of the desk there and he's bleeding, is your response, I enjoy watching Roy bleed?
Can we just look at the end at Mazzulla?
Again, is he in a costume? It depends.
Freeze frame on Mazzulla here, because the difference in the eyes. Yeah, the difference in the eyes makes him, when he's saying that he likes to see his players bleed, that just objectively, empirically doesn't look sane. I want to ask the group here, do you have a lot of other settings where a 7'3" man is getting elbowed in the head? Like physically,
SummerSlam?
It seems like outside of wrestling, something falling out of the sky, it seems like it's a little difficult to elbow somebody who's 7'3" in the head.
You'd take a high-risk maneuver.
How did you pronounce Kristaps' name?
He said Porzingis.
Yeah, that's how you say it.
Porzingis.
Mm-hmm. Can I go back to the imprisonment of
I'm
this
a linguist
coach?
also and a journalist.
Oh, linguist. Okay.
No, you're not. I remember.
I'm a linguist.
Famously, you mispronounced Matthew Kachuk's name.
Lingo Starr over here.
Nice. What would be the charge? I'm just curious, because when I hear what he said, I don't hear anything wrong. Champion coaches can say whatever they want, and it's categorized as genius. That's just a motivational thing to say, nothing more than that. What would be the charge that a jury would convict and imprison him on? I'm just curious.
Not fit for society.
Okay.
Pretty
general charge.
a danger to people like you, Greg.
Yeah?
If that person is allowed to roam free in the same area that you are allowed to roam free, I worry for your safety.
Okay. So you think that coach, Mazzulla, you think that out of uniform...
Why are you leaning away from the microphone?
Out of the context of basketball...
Because he's feeling pretty confident that he shouldn't be imprisoned for what he said. I think he's feeling good about his point, so he's winding up here.
Well, I just...
It's a move us journalists use sometimes.
It's just coachese. I mean... Why are we upset that he's motivating?
It's just coaches. When have you ever heard another coach yell at his player who is hurt and writhing in pain on the ground and yell for him? He is agitated that his player is not getting up from being injured.
Yeah, works for him.
Well, Jason Tatum missed the game last night. I don't know that it worked.
Okay. I think he's done pretty well. I think he's earned the benefit of doubt to motivate and coach in a way that he's
lost to an 8 seed 2 years ago.
Okay. How about last year? How'd that work out?
I told you there was tension here, and you guys said there's not.
No, it's friendly disagreement.
About you guys being the same kind of journalist, the two of you?
Oh, here we go. Look at this guy.
Just stirring it back up.
For Mazzulla, though, without Tatum last night, his adjustments were picturesque.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
I'm not wearing a Heat hat, by the way.
Hat?
Backwards. You're not wearing a Heat hat backwards. Why do you think you're a better journalist than Zaslow is?
Merely because I am a journalist. So by process of elimination, that makes me a better journalist.
I mean, it's your opinion.
Okay. All right. I don't think people see someone who barks into a radio wearing a Heat hat and a Panthers jersey as a journalist. No offense to Zaslow, who's very, very good at what he does.
Barks, very dismissive.
Yeah.
That is an offense.
Like I'm a dog.
Yeah. When you said barks and you made him not human, yeah, that's a little offensive.
I said no offense to Zaslow. He's very good at what he does.
Just because you say no offense, hey, Greg, you're an asshole. No offense.
Yeah. Thank you.
Like that's not, you can't just throw in a no offense after you've offended to exonerate your offense.
Yeah, well,
and you've offended my education. I have a degree in journalism.
Okay, but you didn't pursue that degree.
That's not true.
You didn't pursue the degree.
Hate that shit.
Do you do journalism, though? Because it's like a thing you do.
Thank you, Jess.
What's inaccurate? Hold on. What's the fake news? Where's the journalism?
He went to Santa Fe.
Yeah, he did, but that's not where he got
No,
the
I didn't. No, I didn't. I've never stepped foot on that campus. If you told me right now your life depends on it, go to Santa Fe University and just take a picture. I would die. I don't know where it is.
Why, speaking to the mic like a professional journalist and broadcaster,
That's great.
Why do we think that you went to Santa Fe?
I don't know.
Because we had a conversation. You told me you went to Santa Fe.
Straight up lying.
I think that's
just
a community
liar.
And community college. Not that there's anything
You're right.
wrong
It
with
is.
that.
You're right.
Yeah.
It is a community college.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for lying.
Straight up lying.
Yes. Imprison that man. Imprison that man.
Mike
Zaz.
I want to play some sound here from yesterday of Greg Cote when he wasn't killing Marv Levy. He was also taking a colleague, Andrew Hawkins, and for some reason calling him, I believe it was Walter Hawkins.
Great name.
Let's hear that sound, please.
I don't know Walter.
I don't know Walter.
Okay, and the thing that got me a little bit upset was that you tried to make it seem like Greg doesn't even know a coworker. He doesn't know someone he's worked with. I've never met this man. I have never worked with him. I have never seen him. I've never been in the same studio
played
with
in
him.
the NFL and works with us at Metal Art.
I feel like never met this man is also a little bit dismissive.
Why?
Just feels like you don't know.
You need to quit barking.
I don't know Walter.
I think I know what happened here. Greg, you have been on this show for the last few weeks as we have tried not to spoil a very popular TV show. There is an actor who is on 2 different TV shows that gets spoken around here a lot. His name is Walton Goggins, and I believe when you heard the name Andrew Hawkins, you thought we were talking about Walton Goggins
and called him
Walter Hawkins.
Oh, wow.
Am I right?
You are not. But I wish you were, because it's a great excuse you just gave me.
Why didn't you
Mixing
just
up
roll with
Walton
it? I saw a lot of people tweeting that. I think a lot of people thought what Jeremy was thinking.
Really?
It had to.
Well,
You
because
heard Hawkins and thought Goggins.
Dan also called him Walter once.
I don't
and now
think
he
I
only
did. I
says
think
Goggins.
you guys accused me of calling him Walter
not an
Goggins.
accusation.
It was an accusation. I referred to him as Goggins, and you guys said I was afraid of his first name. I never called him Walter. That's not something that happened.
I'm a big White Lotus fan. I know Goggins' work.
What about Uncle Baby Billy?
Yeah, he's great. And in the last episode, he's driving a Cybertruck, which was just
Who wants
magic.
to S the old man's D?
I know. It's water skiing nude.
Censoring it.
That's great.
By the way, The Last of Us, I'm not going to spoil it, even though it's right around Spoiler Alert Wednesday, but The Last of Us caught me very much off guard in the last episode. I was not expecting that.
I didn't see the last episode.
Okay,
yet.
well,
you can spoil it, whatever.
No, I'm not going to spoil this. But
Is it Wednesday?
No, that's why I'm not
You
going to
missed your
spoil
chance.
it. I did. I was going to spoil it yesterday, but I didn't. So now here we are.
Oh, there's the new EP of the show, by the way.
That is Chris Cote's daughter.
come on.
She came in here today and called me a doo-doo head. I don't know. That runs in the family, I guess. The Cote's passed that down. I am being told by producers that everyone is enjoying the tension between Zaslow and Greg Cote. I've been enjoying it for many years. Like they have both come up in this market, And I don't believe that Zaslow looks down on Greg Cote, but I do know, and I'm not saying Greg Cote looks down on Zaz, but I do know that print journalists generally look down their nose at radio guys. That's a pretty common affliction in my history in this business. For some reason, the print guys think they're more noble than the radio guys.
I will say this. Early in my career, before I got into broadcasting and podcasting and all this stuff, I might have thought that. Early in my career, when the newspaper was still a big thing in the 80s and into the 90s, I might have thought that. I don't now. I essentially do what Zaz does a couple of days a week on your show. I have my own podcast. I'm totally into that. I respect what he does. But to your larger point, I do think I am a journalist and Zaz isn't. Saying that, it doesn't mean I'm superior. It just, to me, I'm stating a fact.
Oh, but I do believe you think that that's also superior. It doesn't mean that.
It makes me different, but not superior. I'm not wearing a Heat hat. I'm not cheering for the Heat.
Which one do you think is more admirable if you were just looking at it from afar? Who do you respect or admire more? The person who has a print journalist's resume or the person who has a radio person's resume?
Okay, I would argue that I have both at this point in my career.
But that's not the question I was asking you. Like, which one do you respect more? Like, just if I put in front of you a great radio broadcaster and a great print journalist, who gets more respect from you?
Well, it's impossible to answer because one of the people I respect the most in this entire business is Tony Kornheiser, who's been really great at both. And you can do both. So I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna be forced to say an either or where it's sort of an apples and oranges thing.
I get what he's saying. I'm not offended. As a journalist, I know the way this game works. It's very competitive. I understand.
Okay. All right. So you didn't go to Santa Fe? Where did you go to college?
I have a degree from the University of Florida
in journalism.
Wow.
Okay. I went to the University
Yours is
of Florida.
from FAU, correct?
Yeah.
Actually, empirically speaking, he's got the better journalism degree. Like that's a fact.
Okay, and
that's not subjective.
And at one point, Zaz had a conversation with himself and said, "You know what? I've got this journalism degree from a top-notch college.
That's right.
But I've decided not to be a journalist. I'm just gonna yuck it up on the radio. I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna wear Panthers jerseys. I'm just not gonna be a serious journalist." How was the evolution of that decision?
I never made a decision because I'm a broadcast journalist. I'm doing it. I'm a journalist.
Well, you're broadcasting.
You're a print media journalist.
Among other things.
I'm a broadcast journalist.
We are in the mud.
You are broadcasting.
Dan is so happy.
No, you
about
are
this,
broadcasting.
Is this what you wanted?
You are a
Dan is Kevin McAllister giggling at the
He
top of
will
the
be
stairs.
full for weeks
He is a
off of
broadcaster.
this.
I'll give him that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He just swung 2 paint cans at you guys.
That's right.
Just slipped on micro machines, and he's just having the time of his life.
Yeah, and that's right. And what's at the end of it? A beautiful artistic tapestry for everyone to enjoy, because we need more sparks around here, because this is an echo chamber.
This is not an echo chamber.
You guys saw some of the numbers on Vasilevsky because
that's not the biggest one. 6 goals.
I know. He this is something in this Tampa, Florida series. He's allowed 6 goals in Tampa 5 times in his career. 3 times it's been done by the Panthers.
Oh, man.
In the last game, the Panthers scored, I think, 5 goals on 11 shots or something absurd. And Roy, Mike, and Zaslow came in here, Chris less so, expecting that. Expecting that, because if you've done it 3 times to him, it's only happened to him 5 times at home, and you get 6 goals against a goalkeeper I've seen win the championship by being a hot goalkeeper.
Tender.
To see what it is. Yeah, sorry. To see what,
which is a surprise, because I know you love them tendies.
GT.
I do love those tenders.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. I don't think that stat is like that shocking. They've played each other in the last 4 postseasons. The Panthers sample compared to other teams is greater.
Oh, but he kind of owned us those first 2 series. And
Yeah, those passing lanes against Tampa in game 1 were ridiculous. Like we're literally just saucing air passes over to Sam Bennett in the middle of the ice, streaking towards the net.
How good is Mackey?
Mackey is really good, really underrated. It's gonna suck when like the Bruins sign him to like a max tender. There's another tendy there, Dano.
Tonight's gonna be so good.
Tonight's gonna be great.
2-0?
A 6:30 puck drop too.
6:30 p.m.
God bless.
Way better than the 8:30, and this means Zaz.
Chris didn't know.
I just learned at 6:30.
You can watch the Cats, and then go into your Pearl Jam concert right after.
Works out
Or
great.
the NFL draft.
That is better than 8:30, I will say. For me, at least.
Jessica, you have no interest tonight in anything but the draft, correct? You are
Correct.
You are zoned in, and you're not someone who's going. Greg Cote's trying to break last year's record of 9 exactos.
Yeah.
He's feeling very confident that his mock draft is going to be successful. Have you done any mock drafts?
I have not done any mock drafts, but I do want Greg Cote's exactos before we finish the show today so that I can follow along from home, similar to like a game of bingo or dango or whatever people play these days.
Yeah, I'm actually, I'll promote this. I'm doing a live report card on my mock draft tonight online in the Herald. So it'll be a live analysis of the draft and
Behind a paywall?
and a report card.
Behind a paywall?
I have no idea.
Now that, as a journalist, I never learned. Grading yourself, grading your own work.
Yes.
I did not learn that.
Yeah. Well, the beauty of that is that it's all out there. Like last year, I happened to do very well. 9 exactos is excellent. It was better than Kuiper and a lot of other national names. Tonight, I may get 3, and I may be embarrassed publicly.
What would that grade be if you got 3?
A D minus, because I think the average. This is the 34th annual that I've done this. That tells you how old I am. I think my average is probably 5 or 6 exactos. 9 is really good. 2 or 3 is like unacceptable. It's just bad luck, but also unacceptable.
Zaslow, as a journalist, did you learn at the University of Florida to consult an imaginary bird when making your weekly picks on the NFL?
Yeah, the upset bird. No. Don't disparage the upset bird.
Folks, listen up. They're here and they're hot. Get ready because Jimmy John's is turning up the heat. After years of perfecting the cold sandwich, toasted sandwiches are finally here. Try one of their 3 all-new toasted creations. The Toasted Chicken Bacon Ranch, all-natural chicken, creamy home-style ranch, applewood smoked bacon, melted provolone, fresh veggies, all on a perfectly toasted French bread. Good God, does that sound delicious. Or the Toasted Roast Beef and Cheddar, premium roast beef, melty cheddar, creamy horseradish sauce, crispy fried onions, fresh veggies, golden toasted French bread. It just keeps getting better. And the Toasted Ultimate Italian, salami, capicola, smoked ham, applewood smoked bacon, melted provolone, shredded Parmesan, fresh veggies toasted to perfection. Or take your favorite Jimmy John classics like the number 9 Italian Nightclub or the number 11 Country Club and get them toasted. Order now at jimmyjohns.com, on the Jimmy John's app, or stop by your local Jimmy John's today.
The Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is sponsored by Liquid IV. Guys, I just finished playing hoops, went to the gym. That's how I show myself some love. And love looks different for everybody, especially when it comes to all the ways to treat and celebrate yourself. Gift yourself the everyday indulgence of extraordinary hydration from Liquid IV, powered by Live Hydroscience. Visit liquidiv.com and fall in love with all the flavors, like the incredible new Hydration Multiplier sugar-free raspberry lemonade, and use code Dan to save 20% off your first order. Find all your favorite Hydration Multiplier flavors on their website, from acai berry and lemon lime to pina colada, or choose from their line of sugar-free flavors like raspberry lemonade, white peach, rainbow sherbet, and much more. Obviously, you guys know the lemon lime sugar-free is triple platinum here at the Cloud Eat household. They have true to fruit flavors, which makes every single one taste delicious and keep you hydrated. Break the mold and own your ritual. Just 1 stick and 16 ounces of water hydrates better than with just water alone. Treat yourself to extraordinary hydration from Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code Dan at checkout. That's 20% off your first order with code Dan at liquidiv.com.